All right, everybody. Pretty good. Pretty good chapter, huh? Let me make sure I'm not muted, as per usual. Look at that, I'm not muted. All right, good stuff. This chapter was, this chapter was something, wasn't it? This chapter was a... How do we feel? How are we feeling about the current chapter? How y'all feeling about the current chapter? Yeah, and I'm on time, too. I'm pretty on time. 2-3 minutes late? It's not bad. Yet, chapter hype. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. How'd you get... Okay, what I'm interested in... First, let me answer these two supers real quick, and we'll get into it. Mr. Talk About It says, the events were actually really awesome, but how I feel about the... And I think Mr. Talk About It, if I remember, didn't like the previous chapter. I might be wrong on that. Mr. Talk About It, can you confirm or deny? The events were actually really awesome, but how I feel about this chapter and if it holds up depends on if Sabo's actually dead. He should be ... No, Sabo's not dead. Come on. One thing that... I mean, first of all, Sabo's a Logia, right? So this explosion should not kill him by any means, unless Im added some hockey to it somehow. I suppose, oh, wait a sec. Hold on. Did we just get a... It works! Okay, first of all, let me throw this out. You can now become members. Oslinger, feel free to use your emojis. I was gonna talk about this as we got into the stream, but you can now become a channel member. Once you become a channel member, it's support, so I really appreciate the support. If you're supporting the stream, etc., you enjoy coming to the Morj streams, that's something that is obviously really great. Thank you. Keenan, thanks so much. Keenan signed up for the Yonko tier. With the Yonko tier, you get access to the podcast. The podcast is something that I've been doing for my patrons so far, but I do offer it for members as well now for the Yonko tier. So right now we got 2 tiers of memberships. Both tiers get access to all the emojis. Here's the good news. With emojis, we actually kind of have unlimited emojis depending on how many people sign up as members. So you start off with just a certain number of members, or a certain number of emojis, and then as you hit certain member counts, holy shit, guys, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. Hold on, let me thank everybody. Uninspired says, I gotta go back to... First, we gotta talk about Mr. Talk About It. All right, Mr. Talk About It, we'll get back to you in a second. Uninspired, sorry to leave you hanging for a second, we'll get to you. Gustavo Cisneros, thanks so much, really appreciate it. Professor Clover, welcome to the Yonko tier. We got another Yonko up in here. Wertio Man says, welcome to the Yonko. Cigar Verk, what's up, man? Welcome to the Yonko. Sheriff Lafitte, what's up? Thank you. Uchek, thank you. Appreciate it. Bryce Duvall. Okay, hold on. I don't want to turn this into a whole... Okay, let's catch up. So Mr. Talk About It thinks that Sabo should be dead. I don't think Sabo's dead just because it's Sabo, right? It's Sabo. He's not gonna die like that, right? This is a classic cliffhanger. Now, the Kingdom of Lucia, this would be the most characters Oda has killed in one go in the main story, right? We don't count O'Hara and stuff in the past. Carlos Echeverria, what's up? Welcome to the Yonko tier. Not me, welcome to Supernova. For those of you who want to know, the podcast comes out every Friday, basically, after the chapter review. All right, so John Ross says, Theory Brain, assuming Imu has a water fruit, I think this was some kind of hydrogen bomb. The straw hat's fine. That's really interesting, because one thing I've always thought about the water fruit, right? People theorizing that Im could have the water fruit is that, sure, it's a really, really cool ability on paper because it cancels out devil fruits, but it's not as strong against non-devil fruit characters, so it's more of a matchup ability than anything. Like, Im wouldn't be that strong against Shanks or something. So to make it really broken, that's an interesting idea that it could be capable of creating hydrogen bombs or something like that. The other option is, of course, that Im is using Uranus. Take Inventory, thanks so much. Bingle the Oop, thanks so much. Levy Flores, thanks so much. You guys are going nuts. Thanks. I really, really appreciate it. Guys, use the emojis. If you just joined, let's throw some emojis out there. Use the emojis. TY, thank you. By the way, if you become a member, you get a badge next to you. The badge gets better the longer you're a member. So we start off with the basic badge, and then it gets bumped up over time as we go. Flame Emperor, thanks so much. Welcome to the Yonko crew. Hold on, where are we at? All right, so Im could have a hydrogen bomb. The Strats find Bonnie in the aftermath. Nami said the reverse eddy must have occurred due to heat from below. Oh, so you're thinking that the eddy was basically... Interesting. That's a good theory. Nolan P, welcome. So the emojis, will be getting more emojis as we go, because basically based on the number of members that are joining here, we just unlocked access to a bunch more emojis. So next stream, there'll be way more emojis available. This is getting a little out of hand. Hold on. Did I miss anyone? Nolan P, I think I got you. Flame Emperor, I got you. Okay. All right. Porsche says, remember to... thank you. Appreciate that. Remember to pin Morj Unleashed. I got to do that. All right. This is beginning to surpass my multitasking capabilities. Stas, Silantiv, thank you. SSP Pancakes, thanks. Welcome to the Yonko. Where are we at? Uninspired says, could Bonnie be a target of the world government to age up the Seraphim? Oh, that is an interesting idea, but I don't know if the Seraphim need to be aged up. So one thing that somebody was mentioning was that the Seraphim are based on like biblical angels, and I think they're supposed to be cherub-like or something like that. Oscar Cruz, welcome to the Yonko. GV, welcome. So maybe maybe this is their final form. But I think Jewelry Bonnie was coveted by the world government even before the, Seraphim were a concept, really. So I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Sam Ogunto Yinbo says, I guess the world government has a Death Star now. Here's the thing. My question is, if they were capable of doing this, why do they need Pluton? Right? Why do they need Pluton? Why do they need why do they need Pluton? If Uranus can do this, let's say this is Im's ability, or let's say it's Uranus. Either way, doesn't that make Pluton redundant? Because the idea is that Pluton's the weapon that is capable of destroying islands. If they've already got that capability, maybe Pluton's just way, way crazier than even this was. Who knows? GV, welcome. Skylar H, welcome. I like seeing the familiar faces just joining in. Oscar Cruz, sorry if I didn't mention, welcome to the Yonko. I think I mentioned, I'm not sure. Tom, welcome to the Yonko. An average drummer, welcome. All right. Bukchosh, welcome to the Yonko. All right. Hold on. Keeping up. This chapter has gotten everyone going crazy. Sam Ogunto Yunbo, I guess the world government has a Death Star. Yeah, so we talked about that. Bryce Duval says, did Luffy and Chopper fly off the ship at the end? Maybe that leads to the new island. No, because I think they're going to get some interactions with Bonnie, so I don't know if... I'm not going to take the Luffy and Chopper flying around thing too much to heart just yet. Skylar H says, thank God, rumor in chat was you weren't here on time because you were on that island, perhaps looking for a tire shop view. No, I got here on time. The tire situation is fine. Tire is fine now. Leo Rector says, do you think NL will return and be stronger if so? Do I think NL will return and be stronger if so? I don't know, because he's kind of like... It's hard to say. Okay, let me think about NL. Let me just thank some people first real quick. An average drummer, welcome. Buchosh, we got you. Hunter, awesome. Welcome to the Yonko. Rep245, welcome to the Yonko. Koopy Coop, welcome to the Yonko. What's going on, Koopy Coop? Haven't seen you in a bit. Potato Tim, welcome to the Yonko. Mark Ross, welcome to the Yonko. The Dirty Danky, welcome to the Yonko. Minus, welcome. Blue T Tints, welcome to the Yonko. Okay, so... in terms of NL, I do think NL might return to the story because if you look... Okay. This is just because this is the first day we got members and everything like that, so it's going a little crazy. Minus, welcome. Okay, we got you. So when NL left, right? Let me get things a little bit under control here. Okay? So when NL left, right? Where's the panel of NL leaving? Go Maxim... okay, he says, God can never be defeated, I'll come back someday. I will not... okay, so he leaves, he's saying, I'll come back someday. I don't know how much we take that to heart, but I do think that the idea is dropped there, plus NL has such valuable information at this point. I could definitely see NL joining, or coming back, basically. Like, rejoining the story, but not in, like, a major way. Fontango, welcome to the Yonko. What are the emojis people are liking so far? I'm kind of curious. Yo ho ho, NL has absolutely no reason to return. That's the thing. So the one reason that NL could be relevant to the story again is if he is farmed for his devil fruit. Because the one big thing with NL was always that he had an extremely powerful fruit, but a not so powerful individual fighting ability relative to what his fruit was. Obviously, he's relatively strong because he was able to give, Luffy back then a run for his money, and Luffy was no slouch back then, right? But in terms of other areas of combat, besides observation and everything, Enel was not, not exactly quite up to par with, admirals and things like that, obviously, or even, he's just not in that realm. So if Enel was fruit farmed by the Blackbeard pirates, as I've often believed would be the most interesting use of him returning, basically, that'd be great. Named says, Morj, how do you become a member? You can just go to the channel and hit join. That's basically how you become a member. I think it's pretty simple. Let me know if there's any problems with that. Okay. Keenan saying, Final Saga about to be so lit, bro. We're off to an amazing start. No, I am excited. I'm excited. The last 3 chapters have gotten me very, very, very excited about One Piece again. Not that I mean, I can be honest. I wasn't the most excited about the Final Saga post Wano. But as of right now, it's my excitement for One Piece is back to where it was. I don't know. Reverie period. I don't know. Michael Joseph, welcome to the Yonko, and Keith Murray, welcome. All right, everybody, like the stream. I know you guys are all already doing a lot, which is very, very much appreciated, but still like the stream. Let's all still like the stream, because I think this is just one of those chapters where it's gonna be a pretty crazy stream the further we go. So let's all just like the stream, and let's just get this ball rolling. EHB, welcome to the Yonko. Axitor, wait. Sheriff Lafitte says, do you think Im can see the future? The way the Gorosei acted when they were told Sabo was in the Lucia Kingdom makes me think Im told them that was the light to be extinguished, and it was fate, Sabo was on it. So this goes back to who the posters of who Im was holding, right? The posters of who Im was holding at the start of this whole thing, at the Reverie and everything like that. So Im definitely has some level of insight into something, and this could potentially be tied back to Enel parallels and Enel's insane observation hockey, and Enel always being able to see and hear what needed to be eliminated. So maybe Im can see the future. I mean, I assume we're talking about beyond regular future sight like Katakuri has, which lets you see 10 seconds into the future, but something more omniscient and terrifying. EHB, welcome to the Yonko. Wait, I think we just got you. Not sure. No, we didn't. Dr. Farewell, welcome to the Yonko. Okay. Axtor says, what about Moda and Dr. Blackbeard? Moda and Dr. Blackbeard. Am I crazy? And Dr. Blackbeard? I actually don't understand what you're saying right here. Did I miss something? What about Moda and Doc? Oh, wait! Moda! Wait, is Moda dead? No. I don't know what happened here, but okay. Did Oda just kill... I don't know what to say. I don't think Oda killed them, though. So something must have happened. Minus says, so Uranus is a Death Star, basically. I hope it's not I don't know. The thing is, it would make Pluton... What's the point of Pluton at that point, then, Uranus just seems better. It's more mobile. It can attack from anywhere, it seems. It's not a ship that has to navigate around. And it can destroy islands, which was what Pluton was pitched as being able to do. Dom, welcome to the Yonko. Thank you so much. Oscar Hormazabel, welcome to the Yonko. I just want to see the emojis in use. Can you guys spam, what's a fun one? Can you guys spam the Zoro one? I think there should be a Zoro one where he's got a funny face right now. I just want to see that in chat. This is fun. I couldn't ask for emojis before. Stormfox says, comparing Vivi to Ace doesn't bring me confidence. I like how they defend it. Okay, so I like how Oda played it. In this scenario. Which is basically, I like the Zoro faces. I think that's my favorite one so far. But we got a lot more coming. Basically, next Monday, we'll have access to way more emojis. We just got to set it up in the background, basically. Because when you start with 0 members, you're only allowed 5 emojis. But now we got a shit ton, so... Gunvarel says, if God Valley was erased like Lucia, could Kaido have gotten caught in the explosion and therefore needed to be saved by Big Mom with the fruit? Hold up! Gunvarel, everybody. Snaps for Gunvarel. God Valley being erased like Lucia seems like an extremely, extremely high chance because everybody's like, where the fuck did God Valley go? It was erased off the face of the earth. That seems like an extremely similar scenario to this. I like that. It sounded though, to me, as though Kaido escaped before it's like from the little flashback we got, it sounded like Kaido ran away early. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if that was necessarily exactly how it played out. Hold on, let me keep going in order. Sorry, I skipped ahead. Stormfox says, comparing Vivi days doesn't bring me, fill me with confidence. Yeah, but I like the way that Oda handled it, which is that he didn't have them drop literally like the reaction Luffy had, and then the rational, kind of reorienting that Zoro did. I like that, in that like Luffy naturally will want to go just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go save Vivi and everything like that, but Zoro's kind of like there to pull it back and be like, even if that's what you emotionally would like to do on a whim, right, that's not, we don't need to be doing that. This isn't big enough yet for us to go. So I like the way that Oda's kind of setting that up, and that it might feel a bit much if just because Vivi got captured, that's what causes Luffy to go to war with the whole world government and everything like that. It might feel a little repetitive, but it seems like there's going to be something more down the line. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I like everything felt very in character with how they did it right here. Like in character and kind of not forced, I guess. The shift over to whatever's gonna be the trigger. Anojagawa, welcome. Thanks so much, man. Whatever's gonna be the shift over to them going to war with the world government, it's gonna be something bigger than just one or two or one damsel in distress. You know, not that Vivi's not worth it, but you know what I mean. Sheriff Laffy says, do you think Doflamingo's 16 holy bullets technique is a reference to what destroyed Lulusia? Holy shit! You guys are putting together some shit. I love it. You guys are putting together some great shit. So I like that idea as well. Sheriff Laffy, good shit. Gunvarro says, Im has a mythical zone fruit model Exodia. That would be funny. He just wins automatically. Isho says, this has to be Uranus, right? It literally came from the sky. If not, then Im is confirmed top 1 in the universe. I mean, I think Im is top 1. I do think that's the case. Either way, huge implications for the future of the story. The thing with Uranus, I just, like, it would make Shirahoshi so vastly different from Uranus and Pluton then. It's kind of like, what is the purpose of Pluton? Why have Pluton when you could have Uranus? Whereas Shirahoshi does something very fundamentally different. Uranus, it's just the same thing as Pluton, but probably just better. It's kind of like Conqueror's Haki just being better than, like, you got Observation, Armament, and Conquerors, and it would kind of be like the same way that Conquerors is just an improvement over Armament and Observation does its own thing. I hope that's not the case. Bato Babu, welcome to the Onco. Thanks so much. All right, I think that it's possible that Im is just that strong. It's hard to say what Devil Fruit that would even be, though. Mark Ross says, what if Im using Supreme Conqueror's Haki coast to control actual dragons / Uranus and a swarm of them just Boro-breathed the entire island from the clouds? That would be wild. That would be really, really cool, and it would fit the idea that Im is, you know, a source of control. That's what the type of god that he would be. For the record, by the way, I've been talking about this stuff for a while. I know that that's, like, not a modest thing to say, but I have... Please go watch the 2 Im videos, especially the first Im video that I did, talking about Im as the final villain. I've been talking about this. I'm seeing on Twitter people going like, oh my god, Im has parallels to Enel and stuff, and I'm like, motherfucker, I could make a full play, even before those Im videos, I had so many videos. I could make a full playlist talking about the parallels between Enel and the Celestial Dragons, Enel and the World Government, Enel and Im. I've done Enel and Doflamingo, because Doflamingo himself was meant to be representative of the Celestial Dragons, so again, representative Im. I've made so many videos of that. I could make a full fucking playlist. You could go back to my Dressrosa analysis way back when. You could go to my Skypiea analysis and the 2 Im videos I just did. I've been talking about the Im Enel shit for the longest time. It's good to see it play out further in the story to a point that, like, everybody's on board. This reminded me, though, a lot of, like, I did a full analysis video a while back on the Dawn of One Piece, right? The Dawn... this was like 3 years ago or something like that. The Dawn, why Luffy represents the sun, yada, 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 yada. Straw Hats represent the ones who bring the dawn. Luffy represents the sun. He's always represented the sun. Sun represents freedom. I did that video like 3 years ago, okay? Because all that stuff, that's not theory. That stuff is already written into the story. That's not theories that I'm coming up with or anything, right? I'm separating analysis from theories. Everything I was doing with those videos, in videos, that's all theory, okay? Then, when Luffy finally is revealed to be Nika, the sun god, everyone on Twitter is going like, oh my god, Luffy represents the sun, holy shit. It's like, no, if you read the story, this has always been the case. I've done these videos for the longest time. It took Oda literally giving Luffy a sun god fruit for people to be like, Oh, Luffy's the sun. He symbolizes the sun. Oh my god. Think about that. Crazy, mind blowing. I'm like, no, that's what the story is. The sun's been that for the longest. Did you not read Fishman out? Okay, sorry. Let's calm down. All right? Let's calm down. But go watch those Im videos again. At least the first one. I think the first one's really good. Second one, take it or leave it. Uchek says, we're called Yonko, but there's way more than 4 of us. Well, there's more than 4 Yonko in the actual story, right? We can go through Whitebeard, Blackbeard, Shanks. There's a lot of Yonko, you know? John Ross is wondering if Bonnie is actually a kid now. I don't think so. I think that's just Bonnie messing around. You know, Yo Ho Ho says, NL is no, we covered this. Bingle the Yoop says, so what are the chances Luffy's wishes that he wants to have a giant party on the moon? That would be insane. I still haven't seen Arthur. Maybe I'll watch Arthur's theory on the Luffy's dream thing. Maybe I'll watch that. I could react to that. That'd be actually really interesting. Now I'm interested, because maybe he is onto something there. Grizzly Adams says, theory, Imu has the map fruit. Lame. Anything they wrote on a map becomes true in real life. Oh, interesting. This explains islands being literally wiped off the map. Oh, shit. You almost lost me with the map fruit thing, but the ability you just described is basically the most busted ability I've ever heard of. In One Piece, at least. Yeah. Alright. Oh, sorry. Let's keep going. Holy shit. Tom says, attention, the join button is invisible on mobile. Oh, I don't know how to fix that. I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix that. It should be visible on mobile if you go to the channel. I don't know how to fix that. Sean Easton? Can you come? I need Sean. Where are we at? Bear Sharp says, amazing chapter. He actually said Amazon chapter, but I'm going to assume he meant to say amazing chapter. Luffy's true dream is an amazing mystery to include in the story in general. Yes. Do I like fantasy novels? Yes, but it's been a minute since I read an actual novel. I used to love fantasy novels when I was younger. Gabagool says, if Im had this power, why not use it to destroy Ohara? Yeah, that's like, there's a few things here. I feel like the only explanation is A, it's costly to use, or B, they only acquired it recently. So I think that, William Joel, welcome to the Yonko. Am I missing anybody? Named, welcome to the Yonko. I really don't want to miss any member shoutouts, because I overjoyed at the number of what's going on here. 1 second. Hold on. You guys are gonna kick out of this. Alright. Wait. Let me hide the number. You see who's calling right now? Can you guys see this? That's Brago Diaz. Hold on. Why are you calling me while I'm streaming? What the fuck? Why'd he hang up? Hold on. You think this is funny? I don't come harass you on your streams.
Hello?
You know I'm streaming right now, right?
Oh, you are? I didn't know that. I was just saying congrats on the baby, bro.
What's going on? What the fuck?
That's all I wanted to say. Enjoy your stream, bro. Congrats on the baby.
Dude, I'm not looking at chat. What's going on? What is this? Why do I have a baby now?
Man. Enjoy your stream. Bye.
What the fuck? Guys, I'm ending stream. What is this? Alright. No, I've completely lost my train of thought. First, it's my birthday for no reason. Now I have a child. I don't want to take care of him. What would I name my kid? I haven't thought about that. You know what? If it's a boy, Ace. If it's a girl, Sabo. Guys, like the stream. How are we at 600 likes? Get the stream to at least 1,000 likes. Get the stream to at least 1,000 likes. This is ridiculous. We've got 2,000 people in here. The ability to click like is so simple. Now, I haven't liked this stream, but that's not my job. That's the people's job. All right, where are we at? Maxim means Uranus in Latin. That's crazy. How come people don't mention these things earlier? How come we're just finding out about this shit now? Mark Zeknown, welcome to the Yonko. Audito, welcome to the Yonko. All right, got up. Cutloaf says, so did Luffy not reveal his true dream to Kaido? I thought he did, but I don't know. Mr. Talk About It says, good point about Logia. I actually forgot that. Muvahid Sadigi says, so Imu is literally Uranus. Now we see how strong are the ancient weapons, though he seems to be the strongest. Now Crocodile want Pluton is fun. I don't know if Im is Uranus. Im is Uranus, or he has Uranus or something. I still prefer the idea that Uranus is not a weapon of destruction, just because it's redundant. It makes Pluton. Why would you use Pluton? There's no reason. Not an NPC says, join the red-haired pirates. You will be relieved of all fatherly duties. The red-haired pirates are the biggest bums on the entire planet. It's crazy. Tommy says, I think Imu can only use the power on islands who are part of the world government. Like, it's contract to use the weapon. Oh, that's interesting. We got any Chainsaw Man fans in here? That's similar to Makima's ability. Wait, is that a... Don't even worry about it. Wertio Man says, Im being able to arbitrarily explode islands means Raftel must be on the moon, right? Theory confirmed, in my opinion. Im being able to arbitrarily explode islands... Yeah, I don't know. Joseph Miller says, could Enel's ability or Uranus be different Pluton in that it impacts memory, history, or time? That explains the never existed comment. In that case, I assume you mean like Imu's ability. In that case, maybe Lulusia being erased is just a visual thing, like a symbolic thing, and it's not actually being destroyed, but it's being erased from memory, history, etc. Gunvirl says, if God value was so a mass sugar effect, that'd be interesting. More Dorsosa parallels, more Doflamingo, Im parallels, etc. Gunvirl says, if God Valley were a race like Lucia, could Kaido have gotten caught in the explosion and therefore needed to be saved by Big Mom with the fruit? Lena, welcome to the Yonko. Thank you. If God Valley were a race like Lucia, no, we covered this one. Mr. Talk About It says, but I hope everyone except Sabo is dead for stakes. Come on, you want Moda to be dead? Come on now. Ray Uchiha says, what if the world government wants all three because they're stronger together? Yeah, like Exodia abilities, right? We just talked about that. Gigatronma says, Sabo had to already have everyone in Lucia evacuated. That's why they locked up the royalty who likely wanted to stay. He wanted that transmission to be picked up. It's a decoy. That would be interesting. That would be great. I would love that. Although he did seem kind of worried in that one image, that one still we had of him. Canute Worgen says, Nami said the next island is a snow island. Elbath, question mark? Elbath, we know, goes through cycles of winter, right? Winter solstice and everything like that, so it could be a winter island. Mr. Crescent, welcome to the Yonko. Thanks. Shoria Tucker says, what's your proper Indian name? I'm not going to share my name here. Mateo Romeo says, could Uranus be reason for hole under any slobby? Oh, shit. You guys are coming up with some... Props to you guys. Some people really showed out this stream. Normally, you guys are just a bunch of dummies, but today's stream, it's actually been phenomenal. My mind has been blown repeatedly by some of the ideas you guys are throwing out. Normally, all you guys say is Mork, Lork, all sorts of creative shit like that. But today, all the big theories are coming out. Everyone's using their full extent of their brain cells. Axitor says, I believe we see Moda in the chapter going, Papa, I'm scared. Dr. Blackbeard is the lookalike that Ace punched in a mini-story. Yeah, I remember now. Yo-ho-ho says, I'm low-key hoping Imu isn't strong at all, but a tactical genius who looks at the world of One Piece like a chessboard. I mean, he could be both. I would love to see both. EHB says, good to become a member. Keep exploring new things. The channel is great and has a lot of growth potential. Thank you, EHB. And it is great to become a member. Not that I would know, but I assume. Joseph Miller says, Joseph Miller, welcome to the Yonko. Luke Turner, welcome to the Yonko. Thank you. All right. Where are we at now? Caleb Brown, congrats on the new baby Morj. I'm happy for you. All right, so now I'm caught up to the baby shit. Cool. Narcodix Ya Dig says, I think the Strauds are meeting Vegapunk next. He's from a winter island and likely was experimenting on Bonnie before she escaped to Age the Seraphim. I would love that as a stop before Elbaf. Tom says, I think this weapon caused the Any Slobby pit. Oh, we got another one of those. Tire 1 Will says, Brago says, congrats on the new baby Morj. Hashtag Savage Crew stand up. Yeah, I heard. Sheriff Lafitte says, nice to see the Strauds interact and worry about Vivi. Felt very nostalgic. I love the beginning of this chapter. Okay, so let me reveal this. The second part of the chapter was actually spoiled for me on Twitter. I imagine many of you got spoiled ahead of time as well. It's just that kind of chapter. We're almost at 1,000 likes. Let's get 19 more likes in there. We all can do it. You could be one of that 19. All right? I got spoiled on the second half of the chapter on Twitter, so I knew that Im destroys an island. Okay, I knew that part. The beginning part, seeing the crew's interactions, it was a funny start to the chapter. I thought that was actually really, really funny. I laughed, I think, at actually every single thing they called Zoro. I thought each one of those little jabs was funny, individually. No, you're an Oni. No, an Onigashima. I thought that was hilarious. Nami calling Zoro a green Kaido was hilarious. Chopper calling him a green... I just love the... You know, it's self-referential jokes. It's like... It's just jokes on... What's the word for this? It's not meta humor. It really isn't. It's just... I don't know. The fact that they're already making jokes and callbacks to, like, the events of the previous arc, I just find it funny. Furious George, that's a good name, but you didn't say anything. John Ross says, so Imu has the island Death Note fruit, LMAO. Maybe that's what it is. Fenris Redacted says, building on the map fruit theory, this could bring Nami's dream of making a world map back into play. Erasing islands certainly complicates a true world map after all. That is interesting. Seriously, guys, some really good stuff today. JK King, welcome to the Yonko. Nice to see you. Scrooty, welcome to the Yonko. Fenris, no. Spider-Man says, at this point, we kind of know what the One Piece is. Luffy's dream is funny. Roger's dream is funny. One Piece is funny. Laugh, funny, tale, story. Yeah, I really got to watch that Arthur theory. I'm interested in it now a lot more than before. Sheriff Laffy says, Poseidon is from the sea. Pluton is buried in the earth. Uranus must be meant to be in the sky then, right? A sky island or the clouds itself. I saw some people throwing around the idea that, hey, maybe it's Capone Beige's something or something like that. I don't know. Jose Delgado, welcome to the Yonko. Thank you. There was a character in the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. It was something Delgado, pretty sure. I like that guy. Where are we at? Not an NPC. Seems doubtful to me. Join the red-haired pirates. You'll be relieved of all fatherly duty. Oh, we covered this one. Tommy says, I think Imu can only use the power on islands who are part of the world government, like its contract to use the weapon. Im can only use the power on islands who are part of the... Yeah, we covered this. EHB says Skypiea is a short version of OP, a false god. Yeah. I've covered this in past videos. A giant flying ship, representation of the ancient weapons Uranus and Pluton. And in the end, Strahd's get a big treasure in secret place. I think that Skypiea is the key. Please go watch my Skypiea analysis. I cover a lot of this here. A lot of that in that video. A lot of this in that video. You know what I'm saying. Furious George says final villain is still Blackbeard. Luffy was destined to be the sun god and Blackbeard owns the darkness fruit. Blackbeard still makes more sense. Damn it. The thing is that the world government also represents darkness, and it's been characterized as darkness throughout the series as well. You can't tell me that Im's also not a shadowy character as well. Watch my Im video. The first Im video is better than the second Im video. Watch my first Im video. I cover how there's two types of darkness in the One Piece world. Im and Blackbeard are both the key representations of both of these things, so they work together. King Charmander says, what if Luffy's dream is to connect the islands together which will end up him breaking the red line and making the all blue for Sanji? To me, it's the other way around. I don't think he connects the islands. I think he just destroys the red line. Kevin Culver says, there was a shadow and then a light. It wasn't Im directly. Joy Boy for lurking legend. Interesting. Wisdom Minari says, so your false/God theory NL parallel was 100% correct. I don't think that those were theories because I think that stuff was really blatant in the story personally, but I guess at the end of the day, like, I categorize that under analysis, you know? Read failing, that's like a theory. That's like a plot event versus... Analysis is more so just like the parallels seem very blatant and explicit and like there's so much quotes and context in the story by Oda. But yeah, I think at this point it is pretty much correct. Like undeniably. Mamadou Musa, welcome to the Yonko. Thanks so much. Swifty Whiskey, welcome to the Yonko. Where are we at? Law Shambled says, could the snow be symbolism of Ragnarok? If the Strats are headed to Elbaf and snow is how Ragnarok starts, it would be good comparison to start the war. I love that. Love the parallel. Or not the parallel, you know, mythology playing into this. Ostinger says, do you believe Sakazuki has conquered Saki? I don't think he did originally. My friend and I have been disagreeing on either him or Blackbeard will have it. I don't think Blackbeard does. I think Akainu will develop Advanced Conqueror's Haki or something. Like, I think maybe he didn't initially, but I think by the end of the story, maybe he picks it up or something. And that makes him a more threatening villain come endgame. Shonen Academia says, Im is slim and shady. NL2 is slim and shady. Okay, NL2, so Im is slim shady. Okay, I see what you're getting at there. I don't think Oda's thinking about that, though. Aloha Josh says, maybe the kingdom didn't get destroyed, but transported elsewhere, like on the moon. It looks pretty destroyed to me. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to pull up the panels so the stream doesn't get taken down. It looks really fucking destroyed to me, especially in the colored version. It looks like it's crumbling. That's all I'll say. It would give your Uranus a different usage other than destruction. I would like that. It would also tie back on the moon itself. Yeah. Mr. Mareep says, look up the tower. I can't. Tower 16 in regards to Im's Devil Weapon and Doflamingo's final attack. I don't know what that means. William Joel says, let's not ignore the fact that Zoro immediately went after that afro and Sanji might have a questionable reaction to... Sanji might have a questionable reaction to Little Bonnie. Let's hope that she ages herself up real quick. The Wings of the Pirate King. Congrats on the baby. Morj. Go fuck yourself. It's good to know that, like, when I have a child, it'll be heavily appreciated. Tire 1 will... By the way, I didn't realize... You donated $100, which I didn't properly appreciate. I'm sorry about that. That is insane. Thanks so much, man. And you did it just to say Brago says congrats on the new baby. Wow. All right. Still appreciated, but I think you might be an insane person. Thank you. One second. Fenris Redacted says another thing. If Im can really control the world map, could the red line have been created in this way? Oh, that is another... Why is the world map theory sounding so good now? It seems so random to me at first, but it sounds really interesting at this point. The Pirate Hero says, I avoided spoilers because I heard Luffy was going to reveal his dream. He did, but not to the audience, lol. When do you think we will learn it? I think we'll probably learn it at a key point over the course of the final arc. That's the thing. Like, I think if Oda's really saving it, I think that that's a good way to do it. There's... an argument that he revealed an extremely important aspect of it during the finale of the Kaido fight, but it sounds like now Oda still wants it hidden, so that wasn't the whole thing. Batwing, thank you. JK Kane says, what's Bonnie's true purpose in your opinion? I don't know, and that's the best part. I'm so happy that there's so many elements happening in the last few chapters where I really don't know the direction. Like, what the fuck's gonna happen with Kobe? Who guessed that Blackbeard was going after Boa Hancock's fruit? Who had that, right? Nobody had that. So even just based on that, like, the amount of crazy shit that's about to just start happening, it's, that no one can really predict. I don't know, it's very exciting for the story. Very, very exciting for the story. All right, we kind of got some shit under control. All right? So, Sanji is not a pedo, says Hilal Al-Mahiri. That's not true. Have you seen, whatever that thing was? Film Z. He is a confirmed pedo. Leo Recto, hey, what's up, guys? Morj here, and today we're gonna... All right. I've never started a video like that, so if you're parodying me, I don't know what you're doing. Samuel Amargi, welcome to the Yonko. Thanks so much. Name named, Mork, how many members till the bald Morj emoji appears? 200? 200? Take inventory. How was the pregnancy? What will Caribou do? I'm gonna focus on the second part of that question. What will Caribou do? So I was surprised to see that they've got Caribou still locked up in a barrel. That is shockingly responsible of the Straw Hats. I was not expecting them to continue to keep track of Caribou. I thought that why do they still have him? I mean, I get why they still have him, but it's just not characteristic of them. You know what I mean? It's surprisingly smart. I thought that they would have just... Why wouldn't they just leave him in Udon? It was perfectly fine just leaving him stuck in Udon, right? Tom says, in Luffy's first big fight against Arlong, he destroyed a map room. What if he does it again at the end of the story to Imu's map room? That's an interesting idea. I think everybody's really liking the map fruit idea. It's a really interesting one. Daniel, thanks so much. Had an idea that Blackbeard awakens the Gura Gura fruit, allows him to destroy the last road poneglyph, destroys the last road poneglyph, so Nami navigates them to Laugh-Tale with just pieces. That is an amazing idea. I would love that. A map of the world would make the road poneglyphs redundant and a story. That would be awesome for Nami's character. Love it. Ivan back from the card shop. Welcome. Good to see you. I'm just happy to see a lot of people who are regulars in stream joining in on this. It's just, I don't know. It's cool to see. Mr. Mareep says, meant to say that the bomb had 16 lasers. Gotcha. 16 is associated with the Tower Arcana. Much like Doflamingo's 16 Holy Bullets, the 16th Arcana is the Tower. And we even had a chapter of the Tower, right, with Hawkins going down. That is interesting. That's really interesting. I didn't think... I mean, we know that Oda's invoking it because he used Hawkins and everything, so he's very aware of it. That could be something. It could be something. Emil Diaz says, so is this finally the Revolutionary Army arc? I mean, the final war will heavily involve them, so I guess you could say that. Nathan says, if Sabo saw Im, do you think Im saw Sabo? Why do you think Im didn't have Sabo killed earlier if he/she wants to be hidden from the world? I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that Im is a dude because I don't think Oda would make the final villain a woman because it's Oda, right? Why didn't Im have Sabo killed earlier? I think the answer to that is just plot. That's just the way the plot rolls. Grizzly Adams, my map theory isn't sounding so stupid now, huh? I said it was stupid from the first sentence, right? As I went on, I was like, okay, I'm liking this. Rep245 says, give me 1 second. Rep245 says, do you think we'll get any more crew members at this point in the story? If so, any updated thoughts on who it could be? Honest, I do think we're getting new crew members. You guys are going to call me... Listen, I've already explained why I think now there's potential for Yamato to join. Now I think there's potential for Yamato to join because Oda pulled a reverse card, set her character back, right, to I can't join the crew yet, right? Which means that now there's potential for a story arc for her, a character arc that could lead her to joining the crew, which is a totally different scenario than before when she was just like, I just met you, but I know you're Luffy, which means I have to join your crew because it'll be perfect and amazing and we'll have so much fun, right? Totally different things, right? So now I think there's potential for Yamato. And call me crazy, but does anyone think that Jewelry Bonnie might join the crew or something like that? I don't know. Sometimes stuff happens. Because it just reminds me of the end of Alabasta, right? I think I'm not making a theory about Jewelry Bonnie joining or anything like that, but it's just stuff, food for thought, yeah, right? Food for thought, which is end of Alabasta, we had an identical scene, entire crew making fun of Zoro, everything. Like, it's a very similar scenario. We also had a similar setup where there was someone we thought was going to join, so we thought Vivi was going to join, didn't join. We thought Yamato was going to join, she didn't join. And then we happened upon a random new character out of the blue that no one expected. So back in Alabasta, Robin's on the ship. Why is Robin on the ship now? Here we have Jewelry Bonnie on the ship. Why is Jewelry Bonnie on the ship now? I don't know. There's something there maybe. We know she's important for the story in the future. No idea what her role is. She's a possibility. Tada says the next island is Kaido Island that Drake was on. I don't know if we're ever getting to that island, but maybe. Sinex says, at Morj, you don't have to at me. I'm going to see this comment. It's a super chat. Akainu developed Conqueror's Haki in his fight with Aokiji, which is why we haven't been shown it yet. I think that would be amazing, because that would be the best setup for Akainu getting Conqueror's Haki, right? Where else would you really get it? Other than a death battle 10 days long against someone you're evenly matched with. Sweaty Gamer says, D-Clan were former rulers. Nika was their leader. Emu and Celestial Dragon are alien invaders. That's why they fear the D-Clan and Nika's return. Honestly, that's very possible. There's a solid possibility that Im is from the moon, Im is Lunarian, something like that. Mr. Crescent says, how does Dragon know about the throne room? The throne room's not a secret. Everybody's allowed to see the throne room. If you remember, Stelly was shown the throne room and everything like that. Like, the throne room itself is, funnily enough, a tourist spot. You're allowed to see the throne room. You're not allowed to see anyone sitting on the throne. Oh, Papa says, Luffy promised Caribou a ride off Wano in Udon. Wait, he did? I don't remember that, but this is if he's calling this a ride, that's hilarious. Victor Mendoca, welcome. Thank you. Sorry, I missed you a second ago. Just making sure I didn't miss it. Wait. Okay, we're good. The pirate hero, previous owner of the map fruit is Dora the Explorer. Okay. Bill says Blackbeard is a 3-in-1 Seraphim using Zebek and 2 more. If Blackbeard has Zebek in him, that'd be crazy. Explains everything about him. Yamato is a Seraphim with Oni DNA. That's why she's so impressionable. No, I think she's just written like that, to be honest. Peter James says, the One Piece it's a bunch of treasures, plus a backstory of Im-sama and Joy Boy. I'm 100% sure Joy Boy was a king, and Im-sama was a pirate. Yeah, because we know throughout the story a recurring idea is the notion that pirates and government, pirates and authority, etc., those things swap side all the time. Right, so it's entirely possible that Joy Boy, whoever he was once the ruling king of the ancient kingdom, etc. Then Im took over and basically flipped the script and was like, while Im was, I guess, technically the unruly criminal force rebelling against the ancient kingdom or whatever, now he gets to claim that I'm the king, etc., etc., right? The common theme in One Piece, we've seen it a million times over. We've seen the story. Where are we at? Fenris Redacted says, I think she was introduced so late in Wano because it was intended to be the beginning for a character arc, not the end. Yeah. It makes more sense now. But at the same time, it's like she played the way that it played out with Yamato is that like she was such an obtrusive figure in the final parts of the plot of Wano without ever really fitting into the story, right? And sure, it makes sense if she's gonna be having a character arc and stuff later, you gotta fit her in somewhere. But at the same time, it was at the cost of the Wano story arc. So maybe she has a really good character arc down the line, but she definitely fucked up a good long section of the Wano arc. Like, imagine how much more character stuff we could have gotten for other people, or how much more stuff didn't have to be scrapped if you didn't have Yamato taking up a third of the screen time to do nothing. Leo Rector says, hey, love, you think the Rev Army is a Yonko tier crew? They don't look like it to me, but I'm sure they're going to surprise me. Sheriff Lafitte says, Robin will keep that news info hidden for 800 chapters like Pluton. Yeah, like like Robin didn't tell Luffy about Sabo for the longest time. Like, is that overloading Luffy with information? The fact that Sabo's alive? Grim Tenda says, I don't love Yamato, but it's worth mentioning that they're the only other non-Straw Hat who knows Luffy's dream now. True, which is very important. And Momo. Also very important. Yep. Agreed. I think there's definitely, like, I wouldn't mind if Yamato gets her character arc, get something, get a story. Don't just exist and be loud and annoying. Then I would perfectly fine with her joining the crew. I might even really like her as a crew member. Hawkeye Dragon says, where do you think the Straw Hats are going to next? Kaido's favorite island, or maybe this island Caribou was at in his cover story? I hope it's fucking Elbaf, man. I hope it's Elbaf. But I wouldn't mind if it's something interesting, right? Variety Hour says, Bonnie for Straw Hat. I think there's a possibility. I'm like, there's nothing, I'm just spitballing. I think there's a possibility. I think there's little to nothing that supports it at the moment, but I'm like, yeah, maybe it's Bonnie. Who knows? Unrivaled says, I guess God Valley really just got wiped too. Yeah, there was some discussion about that earlier. Ryan Chan, welcome. Thank you. Lane XYZ, message retracted. Who knows what you're going to say? Mr. Crescent says, nah, Bonnie joining makes sense because Yamato was a princess and a new girl. Nakama was all expected, but didn't join like Vivi, but Oda gave us Robin instead. Yeah, I'm saying there's a parallel there. Obviously, you can't just go off of parallels. Not everything's parallels, blah, blah, blah. But it's just interesting that there's a recurring little thing there. It feels very similar, you know? Feels practically identical. Where are we at? Bato Balu says, hey, Mr. Fork. Have I heard that? I think I've heard that one. I've been following your stuff since the Philosophy of One Piece. Oh, thanks. That's one of my favorite videos. Super glad to finally become a member, and I can't wait for the Jinbei cosplay stream. Yeah, that's coming. My nickname is pronounced Batu Balu. Lol. Oh, okay, gotcha. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for becoming a member. I appreciate that. I'll remember your name, Batu Balu, because you're a member. Everybody else's names, I'll mispronounce them how I please. Bobby D. Blizzard says, do you think they've been saying Bonnie to this point because she's been keeping herself young since the Void Century? They've been saving Bonnie to this point because she's been keeping herself young since the Void Century. Also, do you have any idea on why specifically Luffy got separated with Chopper? I don't know if the Luffy-Chopper separation is permanent. Like, I don't know if that's just something funny because, like, they're two Devil Fruit users, so, like, Oda likes teasing them being thrown overboard and stuff like that. So I don't know about that. As for Bonnie, I think she could be from the Void Century. I think it's very, very possible. I'm still a little burnt from how Toki shit played out, so I'm just, like, gonna try not to get my expectations too high about Void Century deets. It's just like, I don't mean to bitch about Wano randomly after such a cool chapter, but can anybody answer me, why was it suggested that Toki was... Why was Toki potentially from... Like, we all know Toki was potentially from way back, potentially from the Void Century or something like that. Why was it important? Why was Toki... Like, if she just existed to have the time fruit and send the samurai forward in time, why, like, tease and drop hints that, like, she knows some valuable information or she's from some special... I just don't get it. Why... If it was just for the time fruit, we didn't need... You know what? This is not the stream for that. Lane X... Okay, hold on. Caleb Brown says, the weird thing to me is that Bonnie's in kid form. Yeah, I'm sure that's temp. She can swap however she wants, right? Last time we saw her, she was an old woman, right? Lane XYZ says, meant to say my personal theory was that Im is Joy Boy and his apology to Poseidon was about not being able to keep his promise and losing his way. Im is Joy Boy and his apology to Poseidon was about not being able to keep his promise and losing his way. That would be insane. Im was Joy Boy, but I don't know if that's... I don't know about that. That would be really, really interesting. Let's just say that. Felix C, welcome. Another regular. Thank you. Oh, shit. We're getting a frozen stream now? No, I think we're good. Did I miss somebody? No. No? No? Let me do a quick double check. We got Ryan, we got Felix. Okay, I think we're good. Tommy says, do you think we'll see more of Yuruch? Yeah, I mean, we have to, right? We got to see him at some point, right? Unless he got off-screen by somebody, but I don't think that's the case. Insatiable Hunger says, this is a Toriko reference called Minority World. Minority World? Okay. Okay. Don't let Zoro around there. Im Haki is so strong that they lose not just their will to fight / ambitions, but will to live. Their vital processes begin to shut down. Lungs, eyes, heart lose their will. That would be really cool, and it's fitting for One Piece. But it's like, would that even be effective against someone like Luffy? Like characters with a really strong Conqueror's Haki? Straw Hat Shaco, thank you. Thanks for joining. I wonder which character. Like, people have told me to try Toriko. Hey, Parvision, what's up? What is up, man? Oh, Parvision sent me a great gift. It's like a... I don't want to go up and get it because there's too much shit happening. If there's a pause in the stream, I'll go up and get it. Much appreciated. Thank you, Parvision. Also, we're streaming on Parvision's channel on Sunday, so watch out for that. Sunday, I think I forget, 3 EST, 2 EST, something like that. Sheriff Laffy says, what if Joy Boy was Lunarian who ruled the world with the other races and humans as slaves? Humanity rose up and overthrew them. Joy Boy was Lunarian who ruled the world with the other races and humans as slaves. I don't know about that. Humanity rose up and overthrew them, but imposed their pain on the defeated, creating a cycle of violence. The cycle of hate. We already got One Piece copying the Edo Tensei with the Seraphim. We got the cycle of hate. I don't know. I think that Oda's going to play it straight. I think Joy Boy was probably a good guy. Shonen Academia says, Mork, good news. It's a girl. Thanks for bringing me the news. It's a shame I can't be at the hospital for the birth of my newborn child, but we've got you guys reporting on the situation, so I guess I'm all caught up. Hold on. Tyler Hill says, any ideas on why this weapon wasn't used on Ohara? There's some question marks, to be sure. There's some big question marks that pop up from this. Like, there's... Maybe there's a difference between whether maybe there's a difference in reasoning for when they use a Buster Call versus when they use this bullshit. At the very least, we know that with Ohara, they didn't erase Ohara from history. They erased it off, the map, but they kept up the tale of Ohara, right, as a warning. The demon of Ohara, right? That's what they labeled Robin as, etc. They used it as a warning, I guess, to the world. Don't do bad shit. It's hard to say. Let's see what the fallout is from this. Jacob Wilson says, I hope to become a regular. Please do. Be my guest. I would love to have more regulars in the stream. Although we've got a pretty good batch of mainstays nowadays. Mark Ross says, Jinbei stayed behind in Whole Cake Island so Luffy could be separated from everyone in Wano by the whirlpool. Mark Ross, I think you actually just cracked it. Because I've always been like, why keep Jinbei in Whole Cake? Because Jinbei's, his return was so lackluster. It was a huge cliffhanger when Jinbei was left. And then he returned to, take out some ships that had some cannon. Some generic ships, not exactly strong opponents. Just some random ships that had, long-range cannons or something like that. Which literally 50 characters in the Alliance could have dealt with in a snap. But Jinbei just shows up. He's like, I'm back, boys. It's like, woo. It's not like it was a really pivotal moment or anything that Jinbei returned. He's just back. So I was like, why didn't Oda just have him show up in Wano? People were like, well, there's too many characters. Clearly, Oda does not have a problem with too many characters in Wano. That was never one of the issues that he had on his outline for the arc, having too many characters. Because obviously, Oda just had Brook sit in a well for all of Act 1 and 2 of Wano. Well, Act 2 of Wano. He just had Brook stay in a well. That was all Brook did. He was just in a well. He showed up once to be scary or spooky, but he didn't have to. He was just in a well. So I was like, why didn't Oda just have Jinbei show up in Wano and just, swim around in a lake and be a fish, right? Just be a kappa or whatever. So that was always confusing me. I was like, Oda saved Jinbei. He had that huge cliffhanger for Jinbei, right? That dramatic moment of Luffy telling Jinbei, come back dead or alive or whatever. And then, like, it wasn't saved for anything. Like, Jinbei kind of just shows up at, like, a moment where there's not really, like, it's essentially deal with fodder. And it's like, well, now Jinbei's back. So I was always confused by that. But it does make sense because Oda couldn't have written the whirlpool scenario if Jinbei was around, right? Peter James says, Luffy has the voice of the things. Big Mom said people who has the voice of all things can read the poneglyph, so Robin has to die. I don't think Robin's dying. It's possible that Luffy has the voice of all things so he can read the poneglyphs but doesn't understand it, whereas Robin would be able to understand it. That might be the difference. Bennett Rogers says, Morj, what will happen? I don't know, man. I don't know. There's too much crazy shit. Yasuho! Is this a reference to the... Yeah, I can tell from the profile pic. It's a reference to the JoJo's Part 8 character. Forgot my girlfriend's birthday by sleeping in and watching a One Piece stream. I'm about to die. Wish me luck, Mork. All right, you don't have to be watching this stream. You can leave. This is such an easily avoidable and fixable situation. Where are we at? Apple Killer 2308 says, who do you think Robin was talking about in the newspaper about the familiar names? Maybe Sabo? Maybe Sabo again? No, because we just covered the Sabo situation, right? Familiar names, Cross Guild? No, we covered that. No, that was old news. I literally don't know. That's interesting. Mavalhead Sadeki says, if Bonnie joins, Luffy will die in less than a month. Adding a glutton chick to the crew, the simp that is Sanji, there will be no food for Luffy and the rest. That is actually true. I would love to see an eating competition between Luffy and Bonnie. That'd be fun. Cynic says Im doesn't have an OP ability. OP in One Piece. Get those mixed up easily. Imu doesn't have an OP ability like the water fruit, hydrogen bomb theory from earlier. If he had, he would have erased the Yonko already. There must be serious restrictions on what he did this chapter. That's true. That there must be some level of restrictions, but I wonder if the restrictions only go so far as Im not wanting to reveal his existence. Because if he doesn't want to reveal his existence, like, why do shit when he doesn't have to? So I guess a similar scenario is basically Enel could have wiped out everybody on the island like that from the start. He could have just gone around taking out everybody, but he didn't have to. So he had his priests do it. So why should Im have to do anything, even if he's really strong? He can have the Marines do it. He can have CP0 do it. He already has the strongest force underneath him, right, in terms of military. So Im doesn't have to do anything, right? And it's clearly very, very important to Im that he hides his existence because that's the whole idea of the empty throne and everything that's been built up. So it's one of those things where I wonder if it's just better to rule with making the people believe that the world government is democratic, there's no all-powerful force behind it, etc. Better to rule like that than to create, like, fear, etc., basically like that, and just create this idea of, like, an all-powerful evil ruler, basically, right? So he prefers not to. However, we did reach a point in the story where the Gorosei are talking about, like, things are getting out of hand, maybe now's the time for a great cleansing. Which is why now it might be comfortable flexing some of the more insane capabilities that he has. You know what I'm saying? So it might be more like he will use his abilities when he feels like it's actually legitimately needed. So Sabo's Flame Emperor Revolution was maybe one of the first triggers in a long, long time that made him feel like he's got to actually get his hands dirty. And did he even get his hands dirty? He did it from afar. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. Where are we at? Ivan back from the card shop says, that one panel of Buggy being depressed about Luffy not remembering Buggy balls needs to be an emote. That the Buggy ball and the improved Muggy ball. We can throw that into emote. We'll have a lot of new emotes come Monday. Edward Roman says Uranus is a UFO. Yeah, people were talking on Twitter like maybe it's the one that sucked up Beige back then. Bobby D. Blizzard says, could any Slobby be God Valley post-emu? Yeah, we had some comments about that. I love that idea. I think that's really interesting. Really, really interesting. And just, like, think about how much crazier that would make any Slobby on reread. You're going back there. It's the arc that the Straw Hats are declaring war against the world government, right? So they're starting the most important long-running conflict that they will have for the end of the story. Essentially, the conflict for the story, right? And the location that they are at is literally the symbol of... It's I guess you could say it's the mark of the power that rules the world, right? Like that waterfall, that huge hole that they're fighting on and everything like that. They don't know it, but that is the power that rules the world, right? Like that could have been, if assuming that's the same thing that Im did to Leloucia just now, like they unknowingly, like in the same arc that they declared war on the world government, right? Shifted from going married to the Thousand Sunny, so became representative of the sun, right? Same arc that they're doing all this stuff. That's the same. The setting is secretly the sign or the marking or the representation, basically, of the power of the god that rules the world, basically, that they are ultimately on a track to fight against. I think that would be extremely exciting, extremely cool, if that is the case. Wanji says maybe Uranus is the awakened version of Im's Devil Fruit map fruit, and that's what separates it from Pluton. Maybe Uranus is the awakened version of Im's Devil Fruit. If Uranus is a devil fruit, that'd be interesting. It would make Im a lot more... make Im pretty crazy. Raftel King says, could Aqua Lugana just be the shockwaves from Im? If Uranus is a devil fruit, then that would basically mean Pluton's a ship. It would be like... It would make the ancient weapons a lot of, like... the extreme forms of a lot of key components of One Piece, right? So, like, Shirahoshi, the Sea Kings, right? Pluton, the strongest ship, right? Like, so the power to control the Sea Kings... the strongest ship, the most powerful devil fruit. A lot of the key components of One Piece that have been around from day one. That'd be interesting. Raftel King says, could Aqua Lugana just be the shockwaves from Imu? So he's just... No, because Aqua Lugana comes, like, I think every year, if I recall. I don't think Im's pulling that bullshit every year. That people would catch on after a little bit, right? People would be like, hey, wait, something's up. Sheriff Lafitte says, what is a fight that won't happen but you want to see? Won't happen but I want to see? So you're saying, like, just any random matchup that I would love to see? I don't know, fuck. I would have loved to have seen Shanks versus Kaido. If we're not counting things that I would have loved to have seen in the past, then I would love to see Shanks versus Mihawk. I would love to see... Shanks versus Blackbeard, I think, will happen, right? Dragon versus Shanks or something. I don't know. Mix and match any group of these characters. Okay, Shanks, Mihawk, Blackbeard, Dragon, Akainu, Im. Mix and match any of those characters. I'd like to see a matchup between any of them. Grim Tendo says Luffy finds the last road poneglyph by hearing it. Maybe. That's definitely a possibility. He's capable of doing that now. Flame Emperor says, good thing Luffy doesn't know about Kobe. He would have went guns blazing. I don't know. Zoro might have given him the same exact speech. Same exact speech as possible. I like that. I like the way that Oda is running with this, which is just that, like, just because characters are, like, it would have felt a bit of a cheap trigger to me if, like, anytime a character is, like, captured or whatever, basically it's like Luffy has to go and that's the trigger for the conflict and everything like that. I would love for it to be something a bit more. Like, same way, obviously, Luffy didn't just go running the moment Ace was in trouble. It was when Ace is going to die, guaranteed. Execution stand, 5 p.m., this date, or whatever. When that came around, that's when Luffy was like, okay, now I have to do something, right? So I like the way that Oda kind of, like, he played everything true to character. I talked about this earlier on stream, but it's like, okay, Luffy can be very scared and alarmed, or like, Luffy's going to have the natural Luffy, do this on a whim, I don't give a fuck, caution to the wind, etc. reaction, go after this, right? After save Vivi. And Zoro's like, no, that's not our shit, right? The one thing that I did feel was, like, slightly out of character with Zoro was just, like, Luffy did say, like, why are you scared, you chicken, or something like that, right? And that is true. Like, it's a little weird, because, like, Oda will play Zoro both ways, which is, like, sometimes, if you look at when they signed up to fight Crocodile, right? Zoro was excited, let's go fight Crocodile, that sounds fun, right? A Shichibukai. Same thing with Kaido. Like, if you go read the crew's reactions to hearing they're going to fight a Yonko, Zoro's excited. He wants to do that, right? So Zoro's always up for a challenge. So on the one hand, it's written like Zoro's always up for a challenge. He's on the same wavelength. Other times, it's like Zoro's giving a speech to Luffy like, wait, Sanji's going to bring Big Mom over here? That's a problem. That's us biting off more than we can chew, etc. That's, like, not a good thing. Or here, like, what, you want to go pick a fight with the world government? That's not a good idea. We shouldn't do that. That's dangerous, right? Not necessarily dangerous. Those aren't his words, but it's like Oda kind of picks and chooses when he wants Zoro to be throwing caution to the wind and just taking on a challenge because he doesn't want to back down. And when he feels like Zoro should be the voice of pulling things back. And you know when? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the times that Oda, it's always because I think I just realized. So whenever Oda has Zoro take this angle of like, we can't do this, this is a bad decision or something like that, right? It's too dangerous. Whenever Oda's having Zoro say it's too dangerous, I think it's usually because normally Nami would be saying that, but it would be out of character in that moment for Nami to say it's too dangerous. What do I mean by that? So the first time we have Zoro, like normally it's the reverse, right? When Luffy's telling the crew, hey, we're gonna go take, like when Luffy's like ready to go take on Crocodile, right? Nami's the one like, that's too dangerous, don't want to do that, etc. And Zoro's like, oh, that sounds like fun. Same thing with the Yonko. Nami's like, Luffy, don't sign up with Law. We don't want to go fight a Yonko. And Zoro's like, a Yonko? Great. Sounds like fun. Let's do it. Right? So there's scenarios like that. But then scenarios like the Sanji Big Mom situation or the Vivi World Government situation, it would be out of character for Nami to not want to go help them, right? Because Nami has the emotional connection, and Nami's a very emotional character when it comes to people that she cares about, right? Normally she's very rational, but when it comes to stuff like that, it's in character for her to be like, okay, throw caution to the wind, we have to go get Sanji. Throw caution to the wind, we have to go get Vivi, right? So in those scenarios, when Nami would normally be the one that would be the voice of reason, that would be the voice that like, hey, we can't do that, that's too dangerous, that's out of our range at this moment in time. When Oda can't use Nami like that, then he is forced to, I think, fall back on having Zoro, like, pivot to be like, okay, well, now Zoro needs to be the voice of reason, basically, even if normally Zoro would be perfect. Like, normally if Zoro heard that they're going to go fight Big Mom, he would actually be happy about it. But because it's a scenario where, like, Oda needs to write in conflict, and he can't have, like, you need somebody to say, like, oh, fighting Big Mom is a bad thing, and you can't have Nami be that person in that situation, then Oda pivots and he's like, okay, well, in this situation, I'm going to say Zoro doesn't like it, right? Or same with the Vivi situation, right? I think normally Zoro would be perfectly fine with fighting Marines or Admirals or whatever, basically, right? But you need somebody, and it's always the Luffy, I've put out videos on this before, it's always the Luffy, Nami, Zoro trio that are basically the key components of decision-making in the crew in general across the entire story. So in that triangle, when Oda can't have Nami play her usual role because it would suddenly be out of character, then he has to have Zoro kind of take a different route or different approach, basically, than you would normally expect of him. I think I just realized something there. I think that's interesting. All right, where are we at? Flame Emperor says, good thing Luffy doesn't know about Kobe. No, that's what got me off on that whole tangent. Thanks, Flame Emperor. Yeah, so it says, girlfriends are temporary, Morj is forever. All right. You do you, man. All right. Hidden Rose says, Im's power could have a condition that Sabo fulfilled, whether that be eye contact or knowing of Im. Then he just needs location to send a laser. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe there's some levels of conditions here. Where are we at? Aravind Sivasalam, thanks. Welcome to the Yonko. I like saying welcome to the Yonko. It's like somebody pointed out earlier, there's a lot of Yonko now. I'm like, fuck, there are a lot of Yonko now. Hidden Rose says, Im's power could have a... No, we covered this. Jacob Wilson says, I like this character a lot better than the last. What about you? This chapter a lot better than the last, I'm assuming is what you're saying. What about you, Morj? I liked both chapters a lot for different reasons. I'll be honest, I thought, like, they're both amazing. Like, it's apples and oranges, basically, right? I was spoiled on the Im section of this chapter. I was spoiled on Im destroying an island, so that hurts my enjoyment of this chapter slightly. Like, maybe the shock value would have been higher if I'd gotten to read that. Whereas last chapter, I knew that we're getting Silver Israeli versus Blackbeard. I'd been spoiled on that, but the entirety of the rest of it was a surprise to me. So maybe I liked the last chapter the teensiest bit better, but it's just like, what are you even comparing at that? They're both phenomenal chapters. And throw in 1058 in there as well, right? I like these two better than 1058, but like, it's just been an amazing run of 3 chapters. This is exciting shit. This is really, really exciting shit. La Recto says, wait, did someone mention that Im used 16 bullets? Yep. We got the Doflamingo parallel, all of that. Ethan says, Sister Jorm. Bonnie's Del Fruit shouldn't work in the ocean, so she may actually be a kid. Maybe as soon as she's being spit out of the water, she's just taking the shape of a kid, but there's no way Bonnie's actually a kid. Come on now. Akash Panda says, if she's a kid, then that makes certain scenes insane. It makes the Blackbeard scene with her insane. Let's just assume she's not a kid. Akash Bandit says, does Im have global observation hockey NL parallel? I mean, I think so. I think that's why he was looking at all the posters of Luffy, Blackbeard, Shirahoshi, Vivi, etc. That's why he's asked who's the light to extinguish and stuff like that. Haritz Andika Nugroho says, maybe Buster Call was made to combat Pluton. Buster Calls are really, really weak. Let's be clear in the grand scheme of things. It was really strong as a concept for its time, but in the real world, let me list a few things that are stronger than a Buster Call. Sanji, Zoro, Yamato. Literally individuals. You can list off individual characters, not even top tiers like Yonko and Admirals and stuff. Individual characters would fuck up a Buster Call. Buster Call's not doing shit to you know how easily like some of these guys would, like, you know what Mihawk would do to a Buster Call? Mihawk would sleep through a Buster Call. You know what Shanks sent an admiral running away just through intimidation. You know what he would do to some vice admirals? Keep in mind, Bartolomeo beat up a vice admiral in the bathroom without a scratch, right? Vice admirals are not a big deal at this point in the series. Not a big deal whatsoever. A Buster Call basically doesn't mean shit at this point. It means, like, if you're a defenseless island like O'Hara, or if you're like the pre-time skip Straw Hats, yeah, a Buster Call is really scary. But I would say a single admiral is much more terrifying than 5 vice admirals, right? Like, if they, like, if you compare, right, like what happened at Sabaody, if they had sent a Buster Call at Sabaody versus just sending Kizaru was, I would say, much more terrifying than sending a Buster Call to Sabaody. At least for, like, I'd say that the Supernova would have had a better chance getting away from 5 Vice Admirals than from Kizaru. Law Shambled says, as Mihawk and Imu's eyes are the same type, and Mihawk is known as the clairvoyant, do you believe that Im's perception is somewhat similar? It would be cool, but I hope that there's no actual connection, like familial or anything, or lineage-wise, between Mihawk and Im. That'd be a bit much for me. Professor Clover says, any guesses about Luffy's dream? In the crew's, I think I'd save that for a video, but let me finish your comment. In the crew's initial reactions, they all looked to be in disbelief, except for Chopper, who looked excited and happy. I think I wrote down some notes for a video, so I won't share too much here, but it is likely more than what I thought it was at the end of the Wano arc, which was to create a world where all of his friends have enough to eat, essentially. I think there's more to it than that, right? Because otherwise, why would Oda keep hiding it? Caleb Brown says, do you think this is the most hyped post-arc so far? Yes, right? Let's take a quick review. I think, okay, do we count Reverie? Do we count Reverie as post-arc? If we count Reverie as post-arc, then that's like a little tricky. Because I'm trying to think back to like how it all, okay, I also got to put myself in a different state of mind, right? Because coming off of Whole Cake Island, I really, really liked Whole Cake Island. So I was coming off of a high off the arc anyway. I know a lot of people didn't like Whole Cake Island. I'm saying I liked Whole Cake Island. So I'm coming off a high off that arc anyway. Then Reverie is starting. It's just different. It's hard to recall what I thought was more hype, right? Maybe I thought Reverie was more hype. I thought Reverie was more hype. If we're counting Reverie as post-arc, I think I thought Reverie was more hype. Because the things we're getting during... Like, let's let this play out a little bit. Because this is still going, right? Because Reverie, you had a lot. Like, you had the reveal of Im. You had the reveal of Rocks. You had the reveal of Kaido and Big Mom teaming up. And you had all of these characters, like, from across the entire story meeting for the first time. So there was a special magic to that. But it's really, really close. It's like apples and oranges and shit. You had, like, first time we're getting a tease of Green Bull before we knew Green Bull was ass. Right? Like, the number of interactions we were getting across the over the course of the Reverie that we had, like it felt pretty surreal. But I think that this is pretty much, like, already, like just one chapter back. We had Blackbeard, the Seraphims. We had Blackbeard and Rayleigh. We had what's going on with Hancock. We had Mihawk, Crocodile Buggy. Im actually doing some shit, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's either this or the Reverie. I guess that's where I'll leave it at. Either this or the Reverie. One other thing that's like low-key a contender is post Enies Lobby. Because post Enies Lobby, you had some crazy shit that for its time was nuts, right? Which was Shanks and Whitebeard. And then people don't talk about this enough. But Ace versus Blackbeard is like maybe the only time ever in One Piece that I can think of that Oda actually dedicated a full like not just one chapter, but like 2 chapters straight to one of those outside fights. Outside the scope of the Straw Hat story, right? So like, the stuff that we never actually get to see normally. So like, we never actually get to see like Akainu fighting Aokiji on that island and stuff like that. We never actually get to see Dragon fighting the Blackbeard pirates at Baltigo or whatever. We never get to see Marco and the Whitebeard pirates fighting Blackbeard during the Payback War. Like, the stuff we don't get to see. Ace versus Blackbeard, not only was that, like, that was the craziest fight that we'd ever had in the story up till then, because it was, like, actually 2 characters with Logia powers, which was, like, back then Ace and Blackbeard, like, the Straw Hats were fighting fucking giraffes and, like, wolves and, like, soap bars and stuff like that in Enies Lobby, right? And then we actually get to see Ace fight Blackbeard, so, like, we get to see actual really high-level abilities, like fire, darkness, etc. It was very, very different for its time. And we still haven't really had, like, a chapter like that. So, like, Ace versus Blackbeard, it would be similar to, like, if next chapter we got something like a full chapter, like, relative to its time, it would be similar to, like, if next 2 chapters were just 2 chapters straight of Shanks fighting Blackbeard, basically. That's, like, the comparison I guess we'd have in the modern day. So it's hard to say, but is it the most hyped post arc so far? I would say, based off of recency bias, I'll just say yes. But if I really wanted to look at the whole story, maybe there's 1 or 2 comparable or better. I don't know. Ivan back from the card shop says, what if all the moons seen on Ohara's model are actually islands erased by Im? So he launches them into space. That'd be interesting. I always assumed with the moon model thing that it was just that, like, it's the time period that One Piece is in. They still think that all the planets revolve around the Earth. Like, that was a thing in history for a long time before we got to the heliocentric model. So that's kind of what I just ascribed that to. I don't think that there's a lot of moons, because so far in the story, as far as I remember, they only refer to one moon. So I assume that those are planets, and, like, that's just how they view the universe at this point in time. Sheriff Lafitte says, Zoro's more scared of Navy HQ than Kaido. Checkmate Yonko fanboys. I just went off on a huge tangent on that. I don't think that's the case, but you get what I'm saying. Dr. Farewell says, how's the monitor? I haven't set it up still. But it'll be set up for next stream. Oh shit, is the stream frozen? No, it's not frozen. It's frozen for me for a second. Where are we at? I think I asked that a lot. Mostly I'm asking it to myself. I don't expect you guys to... There's no response I'm waiting on, really. Shit. Let me open up the Supers tab. Okay. Jacob Wilson says, you're right. I meant chapter. Yeah, thanks, Jacob. Thanks for donating again to say that. Haritz Andeka Nugroho says, do you think some figures from movies will return? Well, no. I don't think so. Grim Tendo says, doesn't Chopper keep his form in water too? Yeah? But Chopper's just a little weird because it's so unfortunate, but he's the only Zoan fruit that basically got fucked and didn't get actual the typical Zoan abilities. Maybe because he's an animal, so it has different effects when he eats it. But he should, by all rights, have one perfectly normal human form. The same way all Zoans have one perfectly normal version of their pure animal forms, right? Like, Lucci has a pure leopard form because he ate the leopard fruit. Kaku has a pure giraffe form because he ate the giraffe fruit. Chopper does not have a pure human form because it's just a sadder backstory that way. So it just works that way. So I don't really count Chopper's situation. Amber229 says, how would you feel if Sabo died but not Kinemon? If Sabo died here, it would be insane. I just don't think... Like, if Sabo dies at some point in the story, it could be good. I just don't think Sabo's a character that's set up to die. It would be very redundant with the Ace situation. But if he died here, I'd just be, like, really fucking confused. I'd be really, really confused. Yo-Yo-chan666 says, the Raw seem to hint at Luffy's final dream being a place. It's the final destination of his journey. Then why are they laughing at it? Maybe the moon. Maybe it is the moon. But the moon would just seem really fucking random, like, for child Luffy to have. There's no basis for it, at least until maybe you get more context. Mark Hogan says, when the fuck will Weevil ever be relevant? I am actually secretly really excited for Weevil now, because with all of the stuff that Oda's been, like, secretly leading up to and all of these crazy reveals and stuff that we're getting nowadays, it suggests to me that Oda would not include Weevil into the story if it wasn't going to be important in some way down the line. So I think that there's something interesting with Weevil, especially because Bakin is from the Rocks Pirates and stuff like that. Why are there so many Weevil questions? Sheriff Laffy is also asking, who will be relevant first, Uruj or Weevil? I don't know, man. Weevil, maybe? Mr. Crescent says, Luffy with no Devil Fruit versus Zoro. I think Zoro might clear. Here's the thing I'll say with my answer to all Zoro power scaling questions. I think until we get an answer to Zora. This is not Legend of Zelda. Okay. Zora using Ashura plus Advanced Conqueror's Haki. Right? Until we get the answer to how strong that is. Until we get that, I think it's very hard to play Zoro. Because the Zoro that we saw fighting King, no, I would take Luffy over that Zoro, even if Luffy didn't have Haki. Why? Even if Luffy didn't have his Devil Fruit. Why? Because Luffy, from 10-10 onwards, there was a span of a lot of chapters where Luffy is essentially fighting Kaido blow for blow without really using his Devil Fruit much. It's pretty much just straight up hand-to-hand combat, pretty much, right? Like, Luffy, without really using his Devil Fruit, like a straight punch, he can split the sky with Kaido. We haven't seen anything like that from Zoro, right? Even once he got Advanced Conqueror's Haki with King, that's not enough to suggest to me that he's, like, on a sky-splitting level, right? Yamato also has Advanced Conqueror's Haki. She doesn't split the sky with Kaido, right? So Luffy, it's not comparable at the moment. But Oda showed 2 separate power-ups for Zoro, which was first him using Ashura, then him learning Advanced Conqueror's Haki. And the thing is, we already got it established that Ashura in itself is tied to Advanced Conqueror's Haki, or at least Conqueror's. It's a product of Conqueror's Haki, right? Based on Kaido's comments, and that just makes sense. So that suggests to me that there's a more complete version of Zoro's fighting style that we have yet to see, which Oda did not have him break out against King yet, which is Zoro using Ashura, but now with his mastery of Advanced Conqueror's Haki, right? So that version of Zoro, we have no idea what... We have no idea. You get what I'm saying? It's like, first he used this power-up, which seemed really strong. Then he's got Advanced Conqueror's Haki, which seems really strong. Okay, so what happens once Zoro's using Ashura the next time? We don't know. Could that version of Zoro beat Luffy with no Devil Fruit? We don't know. All we know is that just using Ashura, Zoro scarred Kaido, which is a big deal. And it has now been confirmed. It was essentially confirmed in the manga that he did also block Kaido's attack or deflect Kaido's attack first before he cut him there. So that's a big deal as well. Because it's like, what if Zoro could fight in Ashura all the time? That's like a really big deal. That's an interesting hypothetical. And what if he could fight in it all the time with mastered Advanced Conqueror's Haki? That's a big deal. Anime Dimension says, Lucia was destined to be destroyed. Sabo was Let me just clarify. I'm of the opinion that we have yet to see... I think Luffy's the only straw that we kind of see the full I think we've yet to see Nami, everything that she can do, because she just got her full power-up with Zeus and everything like that. I think we've yet to see Robin, everything she can do, because she just revealed her Demonia form and only used it once. I think Jinbei, obviously, we've yet to see everything he can do. Sanji, I think we've yet to see everything, like, him get really serious, because I think he pretty much cleanly outclassed Queen once he started using his upgraded form and everything like that. And Zoro, I think it's just factually true that we have not seen him use the culmination of the power-ups he's gotten, basically. So Luffy's the only one that's kind of tapped out, and Frankie's the next one I'd say that's tapped out in terms of what we've seen him capable of doing. I guess Brook as well, but there's no reason for me to really expect that Brook has more up his sleeve right now. Anime Dimension says, Lucia was destined to be destroyed. Sabo happened to be there as per Gorosei conversation, and also God Valley might be done by him. But why now? Is there a limit to use Uranus, or is it Uranus? We don't know if it's Uranus. I don't know if there's a limit. I think it's possible that they might just be very selective about when they use it, because they don't want the existence of Uranus to be, realized by the world, or something along those lines. I think that's a possibility. Abihud says, no way, it can't be. Oda passed away 20 minutes ago. You're actually going to make me look this shit up. But I don't think that's the case. All right. That's not a funny joke to make, by the way. Let me just say that, Abihud. Flame Emperor says, I'm starting to see the parallels between Sanji's dream and Luffy's dream now. I want to get a bit more clarification on Luffy's dream still. Because I think Sanji's basic dream and Luffy's basic dream are going to be already inherently very similar. Grim Tender says, do you think we're still getting a full Elbaf arc? Yeah, I think so. Ivan back from the card shop says, do you think Pluton's location was changed? It doesn't seem like there's a point for Robin to hide the location of somewhere he will never get anyways. No, because, she doesn't know that, how would Robin know whether or not Crocodile would be able to get to Wano, right? For all, if she tells Crocodile that it's in Wano, I mean, that still opens up the possibility or the potential of Crocodile leaving the country, going to Wano, getting it, right? I don't know if Robin has the full context that, okay, Wano is ruled by Kaido, it's an impenetrable fortress, etc., it can't be found, blah, 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 blah. It seems like she learned a lot of the details of Pluton being buried when she was in Wano, and the Shogun was showing her everything, right? So she, at the end of the day, it's why tell an extremely dangerous criminal the location of a weapon, even if hypothetically it'd be impossible for them to get it. It's at the same time, it's well, it seems really, really hard for Crocodile to orchestrate a civil war of millions of people and overthrow this country, but he did that, so, he's a smart dude. At the end of the day, he's a dangerous criminal. You don't want to tell him, here's how you get a nuke. Even if he could never find that, even if he could probably never get to that nuke, you still probably should just never tell him, right? Also, one really, really, really funny thing out of this chapter. Okay, so this is just, this was low-key the funniest part of the chapter. I thought the Zoro bits were really, really funny. I actually laughed at every single one of the insults at Zoro. The Onigashima, the Green Mom, Green Kaido, and even Crappy Mosshead I thought was funny, even though Sanji said it a million times, just because it's just Sanji taking this up. Normally Sanji calls him a Crappy Mosshead anyway. But now everybody else is throwing in their insults, so Sanji's just getting in on it as well. And he's like, fuck, we should have got Zoro? All right, let me roll up my sleeves. I do this shit all the time. Hey, you're a Crappy Mosshead. So it's just funny to me that Sanji's just using this opportunity to get his usual jabs in as well. But the funniest part of this chapter to me was actually when Brooke said, so they're all talking up King Cobra. He was the best king around, blah, 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 blah. And then Brooke says, I've never known anyone to be discontent with the way Alabasta is ruled. That's what Brooke says. I've never known anyone to be discontent with the way Alabasta is ruled. Flashback to the plot of the entire Alabasta arc, which was that literally 70% of the country was extremely dissatisfied with the way that it was being ruled, to the point that they all banded together to hold a giant rebellion. Essentially, it's the only nation that we know of so far that's literally had a civil war because they were so mad at the king. Obviously, his name was cleared at the end of the day, but it's damn, Brooke, I've never known anyone to be discontent with the way Alabasta is ruled. Have you asked any Alabastans? Have you asked the people of the rebellion? Did you, that was kind of the whole story of Alabasta, which was that they were really, really pissed that the king wasn't sharing with them some water. Again, obviously not actually Cobra's fault, as they learned later. But let me tell you this, Brooke. People have not always been the biggest fans of King Cobra. In fact, he was probably one of the most hated kings in the world for some period of time. So, where was I at? Just a little note. I was like, this is revisionist history. Holy shit. I'm 100% on board with the idea that Cobra is the best king that we've had in the story. I love that, lips, to me, I take this little early section as basically lip service to, it's just gassing up Alabasta. It's yeah, he was the best king around. It's yeah, fucking suck it, Dressrosa. Suck it, Momonosuke fans. Alabasta, best arc out of those three. Best cast of characters. There's a reason that the legacy is still going strong today and influencing even the current chapters. At least in my opinion. Obviously, some of you guys prefer Dressrosa to Alabasta. Some of you prefer Wano to Alabasta. But I'm just saying, there's a reason we're playing on the same classic moments from Alabasta and reminiscing so fondly on certain kings and characters from Alabasta. All right, where are we at? Nicholas Correa says, Mr. Morj, it was convenient Sabo was there. Maybe Im's powers related to moon location would restrict attacks, could explain safe islands like Wano. That's an interesting idea. If he can attack only where some lunar cycle stuff is involved. Straw Chaco says, you think Sabo knows who Im is? The way he was talking made it seem like he was going to say a name. Smash, Marry, Kill. This is fun. Kokoro, Big Mom, pre-time skip Alvida. Pre-time skip Alvida. So you fucked up here because pre-time skip Alvida still looks the same as she does now. What you're thinking is like chapter 1 Alvida versus like chapter 100 Alvida. That's where the difference is. So pre-time skip Alvida, that's easy, but I would marry Kokoro. Because, wait, what age is Big Mom? What age is Big Mom? I think at the end of the day, I'd have to kill Big Mom. If it's current age. If it's young age Big Mom, then smash Big Mom. Nah, this is too tricky. Because, like, you'd want to smash pre-time skip, or smash Alvida is like a given. But it's just like, would I marry Alvida? Because she's like a bad person. Versus Kokoro. Kokoro's a perfect. What age are all these characters? That's a big difference. You didn't specify for Kokoro or Big Mom. Although Kokoro also wasn't looking that good when she was younger either. You know what? I'll just be shallow. I'll marry Alvida. I'll smash young Big Mom. I'll kill Kokoro. There we go. Jay Adonis, Morj, big fan of your content. Would a channel shout out for an upcoming YouTuber be too much to ask for? Guys, go check out Jay Adonis's channel, I guess. That's the shout out though. That's the most it gets to. Mr. Crescent says, oh, so then do you think the key to mastering Advanced Conquerors Hockey is relying on one's own strength and stop relying as much on their Devil Fruit abilities? The thing is that Luffy's Nika Fruit is going to be important at the end of the day, no matter what. I think it's very, very possible. My opinion is that Luffy's Hockey is going to be more important in his battle with Blackbeard, and Luffy's Devil Fruit is going to be more important in the battle with Im, I think. Papa Dog Sucker says, Usopp got replaced by Robin in the cover page. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Got replaced by Robin in the cover page. No, he didn't. He's right there. Usopp's in the cover. I don't know what you're talking about. William Joel says, what do you think of Shanks being the boss of the underworld? With Ogashira, what his crew calls him, being used by real-life Yakuza. Shanks is the boss of the underworld. I don't know about that, man. Like, Doflamingo was the boss of the underworld as far as we know, and he's a very different type of character from Shanks. Bastiano T says, Arlong saw himself as a god, demanded tribute, and destroyed dissenters. Luffy beat him and Nami smiled again. The ending of One Piece was telegraphed since Arlong Park. Yeah, I think the Arlong god, it depends, because, like, Oda weaves in, like, a lot of these ideas, like, across multiple arcs, right? But it's like, Arlong, I think in part, like, Arlong wasn't played as a god imagery as much, right? It's when you get to, like, NL, Doflamingo, etc., that it was more blatant. So I think it'd be a bit of a stretch for me to say that, like, Oda was setting up Arlong as god, but the parts that you're talking about, like, demanding tribute, destroying dissenters, that's true. Mark Ross says, Brook was adrift for 50 years. How would he know? That's true. But, like, why would he even comment on it? It's like, you have no knowledge of, like, current events or whatever. Like, Alabasta 50 years ago versus now, it's like, wow. Like, how would you know if people have been complaining about Alabasta's rule? Because they have. A lot. Like, also, I wonder, is it, like, awkward going to the Reverie after, like after your country was just at civil war? Like, aren't people kind of, I don't know, like, talking to you about that a little bit? Like, damn, like, Cobra, your people didn't seem too happy with you. Like, your people seemed, like, actually really, really fucking mad. Like, your whole country tried to revolt and overthrow you and probably execute you. You doing okay? Like, is that just awkward or embarrassing? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the protocol is there. it's definitely at least a topic of conversation, but no one seemed to bring it up. Caleb Brown says, what if Im made each one of the 5 elders eat a devil fruit that benefits him, and with Im controlling them, he essentially has 5 or 6 devil fruits? Kind of weird, but I don't know. Again, Chainsaw Man vibes here. It'd be interesting. I don't know how strong I think it's possible. I'm still, like, circling the idea. I think it's very possible that the Gorosei might be strong at this point, but it's really hard for me to imagine them being, like... Because, like, every character that's actually strong in the story, Oda gives them a certain sense of hype and portrayal. It's like, I'm going to show you guys an admiral now. Like, this is Aokiji. This is Kizaru. I'm going to show you guys a Yonko now. Isn't this crazy and stuff? Whereas the Gorosei are always, like, portrayed as just, like, these dudes that are important figureheads and important political pieces, but there was never really much hype around them. Like, even if you remember, like, I think the chapter that they were introduced... the hype wasn't them, it was the Shichibukai. Like, it was really, really exciting. Like they were used as announcers for the Shichibukai showing up, and that was what was really exciting. Like Doflamingo and Kuma showing up and stuff. So, like, Oda's just never tried to hype them or make us excited for them, so it would feel a little weird if Oda's suddenly like, yeah, and these guys are all as strong as, like, admirals as well, or something like that. So, I don't know how Oda's gonna play it. I think there's a possibility that maybe get power-ups or something at the end, or I don't know. Maybe they're strong, maybe they're not strong. Nate Mate says, hi, Morj. What are your thoughts on Blackbeard stealing Luffy's Devil Fruit theory? Do we have... Okay, so I personally believe that that's something that's going to happen. Please don't share more details of it with me, just because I don't want to be... Like, I want to give my own reasons for why I think that this makes sense, basically. But I know that that's something that, like, some people have thrown around. But I personally believe that's the thing. I have my own reasons for it, so... Please don't, like, no further discussion on it, I guess, basically. Papa Dog Sucker says, the cover page was a callback to Volume 8's cover page. Usopp was originally where Robin and Chopper were, but he got shafted to the back. Yeah, like, he got shafted to the back in fucking Wano. I do think, at the very least, Usopp's got something big coming for him. Something big coming for him. Something major. I'm still holding out hope for Usopp to die by the end of the story. Still holding out hope. Jomalomal, welcome to the Yonko. Thanks a lot. Sorry I missed you. Hold on. Wartio Man says, Cobra brought up his country being in shambles so hard it got the warlords abolished, Mork. That's true. He brought it up, but I'm just saying, like, were other kings... talking to him about it, like, in small talk, like, is that an awkward thing? You basically almost just lost complete control of your country, right? Grizzly Adams says, so the Gorosei are just Im's paths of pain. That is basically what the theory was just pitched as. Dude, it's pure Naruto at this point. Mr. Prestige says, who crossed out Leloucia on the map? Imu himself? Let's take a look. Again, I'm just not going to show panels of the chapter, at least not till Monday's stream, because it's just like, it's too risky. Too risky. Can't get things taken down. But it could be Im. So if it's Im, then we got a small glimpse of 2 of Im's fingers. Isn't that exciting? Small glimpse of 2 of Im's fingers. At this point, Im's, like, the close-ups of Im still being in silhouette, like his face and stuff, it's now slightly funny because it reminds me a little bit of, like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of a character. It reminds me a little bit of Blue from Foster's Home of Imaginary Friends. If you look at, like, just a little bit. If you look at, like, the page that Sabo's talking to him, right? The page, or not Sabo's talking to, like, the page that Sabo's, like, right next to the panel of Im or someone crossing off the map. Just kind of reminds, like, if Im's gonna keep looking like this, like, when do we think Oda's gonna reveal his face? I'm, by the way, for the record, extremely excited for Im as a character. He is by far the character that I'm most hyped for at this point in the story. And I'm not trying to mock the way that Oda's been playing up Im, because I actually still really, really like that Im's a silhouette. It's just that we're seeing him as a silhouette so much that sometimes up close it looks a little funny. It's like we're, like, right in front of him, but we still see no features or anything like that of him. but I really like that Oda's, like, this is the right way, in my opinion, to build up a really, really ominous final boss type figure, in my opinion. Bastiano T says, the idea of a god figure ruling over others, Lord of all creation, chapter 71, didn't exist pre-Arlong Park. Oda simply fleshed out this idea in subsequent arcs. You saying didn't exist pre-Arlong Park, or you mean did? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So, like, Arlong Park is when he started building this idea in. Oda simply fleshed out this idea in subsequent arcs. And what would be especially interesting, so adding on to that idea, what would be especially interesting is if it does turn out that Im is from the moon, if Im is the last of the Lunarians or something like that, because a lot of what Arlong was pushing was basically racial superiority, like he's above, fishmen are above humans, etc., and that plays a lot into Doflamingo's mentality, which is that he's a celestial dragon, he has special blood, he's above humans, blah, 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 blah. Man, this is interesting. There's so many. Okay, actually, you guys are here. Let me ask you guys, because I got to stay up all night writing a video now, by the way. Because, not that I don't want to, I'm just saying, like, this chapter, I have to write a full video, basically, off of this. And I'm circling around several different topics. I think that, let me make a note real quick, all right? Okay, so, as of right now, I'll let you guys decide what the video that's coming out Tuesday is, because I've got good ideas for each one of these, and actually what you just, shouts to Bastiano T, you gave me a little extra fuel for one of those ideas, so I'm leaning, I thought I'd pick, but I'm leaning a little bit a different way now. Let me just say this, Arthur Merla said Sanji times Zoro. Thank you for that contribution, Arthur. Alright, let me pull up the topics, because there's a few that I could do. This chapter, this is one of those chapters where it gave so many possibilities for what the rest of this stuff could be. Or for what so many possibilities of what the rest of the story could look like, what certain character trajectories could look like, what certain secrets Oda's hinting at could look like, or analysis material and stuff like that. So it's like, I gotta pick what I want to do this is one of the hardest weeks to pick, basically, what I'm trying to write. Because I could do literally 4 or 5 different videos. So, give me a second. Power Vision says Zoro is a plant is supported by this chapter. God knows what Power Vision is talking about. I don't support that theory. Okay. Let me list it out. Hold on. I think what I'm going to cross out for sure is Luffy's dream. I think Luffy's dream discussion, I could do there's stuff I want to say about that, but it's not going to be tight enough, and we don't have enough info on it just yet, I think. Not enough info on it that I want to do a whole nother video on it, because I did a video on Luffy's dream a little bit ago, like a few months ago. So, what we're doing is basically either... we got one analysis possibility, one theory possibility, and one that's a bit of a mix of analysis and theory. All right. I only do one video a week. This is one of those times I wish I actually did multiple, but I only got time for one. All right, let me list them out. Let me just catch up on these supers real quick. Spider-Man says, I'm happy you're a father now. Just don't be a deadbeat like Shanks did to Uta. I don't even know where this kid is, so I'm already behind Shanks. Nor like Dragon did to Luffy. Lol, congrats, bro. I promise you, I'm already being a worse father than they were. I think they were at least aware of the location and whereabouts of their children. Caleb Brown says, maybe Imu's an actual shadow. He is a silhouette. Yeah, maybe this just is Im. Maybe this what we see is what we get. BBBB says, is Luffy's dream to have a worldwide party? I gotta react to that Archer video. Highlights, guys, if you're here, if you're watching, I guess jot that down onto the list of stream possibilities. I should react to that Archer video at some point, because now I'm interested. Okay, so here's what we're throwing around. Okay. Either another IM type analysis, IM as the evolution of NL, so analysis video on that. IM as the evolution of NL. Theory of IM being a Lunarian. I know I'm not the first person to do that, but my reasoning is going to be my reasoning, basically. So IM as Lunarian, theory, okay? Nika fruit is the key to defeating IM. That's theory / analysis, basically. Those are the three options, okay? I'm going to throw out a poll. What video for Tuesday? No, you know what? We're going to flex this right now. I'll teach you guys, I'll show you guys an image of the future of this world, okay? How do I do this? I'm creating a post right now, a poll for members. The members can vote on the next video. Let's do that. All right. How do I do this? Fuck. Am I not capable of doing this? I know I can. Okay, I can do it. All right. Let me show you guys what we're doing. So you guys at least know the options. I'll show you guys in a second. I'll show you guys in a second, so just hold on. Hold on for a second. This one, yeah, okay. Here's what I got. These are the 3 videos I want to make. Title, etc. That stuff is not yet established. Okay, that stuff's flexible. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. Can I post this? Okay, I gotta say some stuff. What do you want for next Tuesday's video? Okay, members that are here, please go to this community post and vote for this. That's basically all I got. What do you want for next Tuesday's video? At the moment, we got IM as the evolution of NL analysis, so that's more so an analysis video. IM is Lunarian, that's a theory video. The Nika fruit is the key to defeating IM, that's another theory video, basically. Those are the 3 things we've got. I promise they're all good topics. I've got a lot to say for each of these topics, but they are, what do you call, titles, thumbnails, etc. These are working titles, basically, okay? But these are the general concepts of the videos. So go, members, please, go vote. I'll go check out what the vote results are, I guess, at the end of the stream. What a great usage of the membership thing on the fly. I'm giving myself a pat on the back for that. All right. Ender Yanami, welcome to the Yonko. Read on, welcome to the Yonko. Thanks, appreciate it. Papa Dogsucker, welcome to the Yonko. All right. Let me catch up on these supers real quick. Where are we at? Oh no, we are caught up. Okay, cool. All right, good shit. After Nate, welcome to the Yonko. Insert clickbait says vote NL. Uncountably infinite says NL. Guys, these could be your votes. You have the power to vote. Papa Dog Suckers says, Morj, how do I see your exclusive podcast? Okay, let me clarify that too in a thing. Podcasts will be coming out on Fridays, basically. So they'll be coming out on Fridays, so it'll be after the chapter review. I'll most likely be doing posts with links to the podcast, but I should clarify that somewhere so y'all can understand. You guys will see in tomorrow's post. And then you'll know what's up. Okay. Luffy versus Im. Yeah, no, Luffy versus Im I do think is coming. All right, I'm going to call the stream in 7 minutes, y'all. This has been a pretty insane stream. Again, thank you very, very much to all the new members. Members that are here, let's all spam one of the emojis that we now have. What emojis do we have now? I haven't spammed any emojis. What do we like? We got this. I like the Zoro one. I like the Mori one too a little bit. All right. That was my first time using the emojis. Flame Emperor says, Morj, what do you do when you're not YouTubing? So I do work on an online business with a couple other people, basically. And that takes up more of my time than YouTube. But I just don't know. I feel like I've been at a bit of a crossroads in life for a little bit of time now. I'd say like 2 years at this point, basically. But don't even worry about that. That's stuff for me to sort out, not for you all. I won't bore you with the details of that stuff. Imu is a MILF confirmed, says Demaryu Hayes. Mario Castillo, welcome to the Yonko. Parvision says, about to be a hype weekend. Yeah, I'm streaming at Parvision's channel this Sunday. So you guys can check that out. James Sylvester, welcome to the Yonko. I like seeing the Morj laughed emojis. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's me? I don't know. Probably. But I like the Zoro face, I think, the best. Grimtendo says, could Blackbeard get a literal devil fruit? It parallels Luffy's fruit, represents enemy of God, fits with his other 2 fruits, and it's a zone that could actually fit his design. I love that idea. I think that's actually a really, really great idea. Blackbeard getting a devil fruit. A devil fruit. Luffy has a sun god fruit. Blackbeard has the devil fruit. What does Im have? I'm curious here. Let's hold on. I'm actually very curious here. First of all, why is this not going away? Okay, no, we're good. All right. First of all, what do you all think Im's ability is? Okay, I'm gonna put up a poll. What is Im's ability? 1, I'm gonna say he has Uranus. Okay, I'll say his main source of power is Uranus. He has an extremely strong fruit. Let's say a broken fruit. He has an OP fruit, or he isn't that powerful. Okay, so let's ask this. His main source of power is Uranus, seems to be the overwhelming majority. That's interesting. Like, I'm talking about in combat. You guys think that, like, his main ability in combat is basically Uranus? I mean, that's definitely a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. Okay. So it sounds like that's the consensus. Not consensus, but it seems like 50% plus. Not the consensus majority. But what I'm also interested in is Im the most powerful character right now? That's a simple yes, no. AJK, what's up? You missed the full stream, man. It was a pretty crazy stream. Tested the abilities I had to pay attention to multiple things at once, which is already very low. Okay, so most people think that Im is the strongest. So it sounds like most people think that Im is the strongest, and more people are leaning towards Im's source of power being Uranus. So his own strength not necessarily being the key, but Uranus. That, you know, I could rock with that as the main thing. And the final thing. Final villain of One Piece. Let's say Im, Blackbeard, and I'll even throw in an other as an option. Final question. Okay, yeah, we're leaning towards him. I think it's an interesting, like, actually pretty overwhelming. I think it's in an interesting juxtaposition that we got Blackbeard last chapter and we got Im this chapter. And some people were talking about, like, actually, it's pretty cool. Hold on. We got 3 back-to-back villain chapters, right? We got first a cross-guild group. So, no offense to those cross-guild characters or anything like that. You all know I love Crocodile. Just did a full video on him and everything. But out of the villain organizations that we got at the moment, they're kind of the least threatening of the bunch, are they not? We got Crocodile, great villain. Mihawk, undoubtedly extremely strong character. Top 5, probably. Buggy, always a classic, but no offense, they're not Blackbeard, right? So we got a great Blackbeard chapter after that, and then finally we rounded it out with an Im chapter. That's pretty interesting. I would love to see an Akainu chapter next, but I wonder if the juxtaposition of a Blackbeard chapter and an Im chapter, anything to read into there. It is interesting that the Blackbeard chapter, it's not like Blackbeard looked bad. Like, he captured Boa Hancock, essentially, and could have killed her. He pushed aside a lot of the Marines easily. But at the same time, you know, he was sweating a little bit at the Seraphim. He decided not to fuck with Silver's Rayleigh and stuff like that. You know, it's not a chapter that made him look bad. And I'll say this, which I've said many times, which is that Blackbeard, Oda's fine making him look a little incompetent for a little bit, and then have him absolutely go off and, like, have all of his plans come together and seem like the coolest bad guy in the world, you know, half an arc later, right? He does that with Blackbeard all the time, right? So that's nothing, no knock on Blackbeard, right? I don't think there's anything last chapter that makes Blackbeard look bad. I'm just saying. Last chapter, it didn't really establish Blackbeard as, like, this unstoppable force or something like that in the One Piece world, right? The next chapter, this chapter, we had Im wipe out an island and basically seem like an actual unstoppable god. So it is interesting if, like, that juxtaposition is intentional and, like, we kind of can already maybe tell which one of these two is the final villain. Unless, of course, the rug is to be pulled out from under us, and by the end of the story, Blackbeard has become, you know, as Blackbeard does, he takes big leaps forward, right, in the world. Suddenly he's got an insanely powerful crew. Suddenly he's got an insanely powerful second Devil Fruit, right? Suddenly he's a Yonko, right? Like, every time Blackbeard takes big leaps every time we see him, right? So it's entirely possible that Blackbeard is set up to leapfrog Im and basically be the final threat at the end of the story. Still think that's entirely possible. But at this moment in time, I think Im definitely looks more like the final guy. Stormfox says, Im is just a god, no devil fruit. Yeah, entirely possible. Entirely possible. Mr. Crescent says, Mihawk or Odin at strongest he would have been. Who would have won? I think that's what you're asking. Mihawk or Odin at his strongest, who would have won? I think Mihawk versus the Odin that we saw at the end of his flashback, I think Mihawk wins. Yeah, I think I got Mihawk because Odin, the Black Blade thing is pretty big, right? The Black Blade thing is pretty big. But then you could be like, well, do you have Mihawk above Roger? Roger didn't have a Black Blade. I'll just take Mihawk because I like Mihawk better. I'll take Mihawk. That's my answer. I'll take Mihawk. Although I liked Odin a lot by the end of the story. I liked Odin a lot by the end of his backstory. Let's throw that poll out. I mean, this poll is just going to be pure popularity. Mihawk versus Odin. I mean, and I was pretty honest. I took Mihawk because I do also think that Mihawk is a stronger character in the story. I just do. There was one quote that Oda put out there, which was, this is in an SBS. He's like, think about these legends among men, Whitebeard, Shanks, Mihawk. Do you think blah, blah, blah? So there's a quote out there of him talking about the legends among men, and he talks about Whitebeard, Shanks, and Mihawk. This is an Oda quote in an SBS, all in the same breath. So Oda himself seems to consider Mihawk a legend in the same light as a Whitebeard or a Shanks. And Odin, while a very great samurai, maybe we never got to see him at his full prime or something like that, you know? Although, you also have to say, like, Odin fucked up Kaido, right? And Kaido was granted 20 years younger than the modern day story Kaido, right? So who knows what improvements could have happened during that period of time. But Odin looked really good in the one major fight that we saw him against fucking Kaido. So, and like, I think it's not to be underestimated the fact that when Kaido, supposed world's strongest creature, like I don't want Oden to get underrated over time as we move further away from Wano, because Kaido, world's strongest creature, is looking at Luffy and he's like, how high will the ceiling go? And the characters he's seeing are Whitebeard, Roger, Rocks, Shanks, and Oden. Like, he's putting Oden right there in that category. So I don't see Big Mom in there. I'll just say that. Not saying, like, I don't want to get into power scaling of, like, how strong Oden is or whatever, but it's just, like, Oda, if you go back and read the Oden section of the Wano arc or whatever, Oda really, really gives a lot of love to Oden. Like, he really hypes the fuck out of him. The Poke Squad, thanks. Hey, Morj, I love the content. Was wondering if you'll ever do a Berserk chapter review since the new chapters are coming out. I am not in love with the new Berserk chapters, personally. I'm not in love with the new Berserk chapters, personally. So I'm not as interested in doing more content for Berserk like that. If I ever did videos on Berserk, it would be on the arcs that I already really, really like. Tom says, I know you're a busy man, but will we get Chainsaw Man vids? Okay, I'll end the stream by saying this. I am definitely... There's a 90% plus chance. I've kind of set on it, and I've been organizing some stuff. There's a 90% plus chance that I will do Chainsaw Man content, because I've just been enjoying that series too damn much as of late. And there's obviously an anime coming out, so there's going to be like a lot more Chainsaw Man hype. But like, Chainsaw Man's been my favorite running series for a minute. One Piece, like, let me clarify. You guys understand that One Piece is like, it's the connection for me with One Piece is like too, it's like it's in its own category essentially. It's like I might not love it week to week, whatever's happening towards the end of Wano, etc. Even if I don't enjoy that, it's still One Piece, so it's like a tier separate or above my enjoyment of other series, basically. But Chainsaw Man is my favorite running manga right now, basically. And while Chainsaw Man was running and finishing its run of part 1, it was my favorite manga at that period of time as well. So I really, really would like to do content on that. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, this week's Chainsaw Man chapter was better than this week's One Piece chapter, because this week, we know what the last 3 One Piece chapters were, right? But I'm really, really loving the start of part 2. It's in like a totally different place in the plot than where One Piece is at in the plot, obviously. But I love each chapter of Chainsaw Man that's been coming out for what it is. And I think, like, in terms of consistency, I think I always feel like I'm guaranteed to enjoy next week's Chainsaw Man chapter, just because of the kind of the rhythm and the style that the author writes with. Even if it's a slow chapter with not much happening, I really, really like the chapters. So, I do want to do Chainsaw Man stuff for myself at the very least. But also, obviously, I feel like there's a deadline in that, like, I want to get Chainsaw Man stuff out before the anime starts. So that, like, if I'm doing Chainsaw Man content, I also want to ride the wave of what's happening with Chainsaw Man in general. In terms of public, public perception or public craze, whatever. Stephen Green says, you may have answered this, but I just now joined the stream. Who do we think killed Cobra? Also, the interaction of the crew with Zoro was so funny. I thought every single comment, every single insult towards Zoro was actually really funny. Like, all of them individually, including Sanji's, because he was just getting in on everybody already piling on him. Who do we think killed Cobra? I mean, I think Im killed Cobra. I think Im or one of the bad guys killed Cobra. That's what I got. Levi Flores says, I'm with Tom and Poke Squad. Cover more series. I really, really, really do want to. I really, really do want to. Tom says, Chainsaw Man Part 2 feels slow but quick. And I love this. I would be happy to read, for those of you who don't know Chainsaw Man Part 2 where it is right now, it's not slice of life, but it's going at a very slow pace where it's like, it's characters at school. I don't think that's spoiling too much. It's characters at school with, obviously, in the context of the Chainsaw Man world and Chainsaw Man shit happening. I would be perfectly fine if this ran for like the next 10, 15. I would be perfectly happy if not much crazy other, like reading the most recent chapter and just like the style of the most recent chapter and the comedy we got and the characters getting to know each other and everything like that. I wouldn't mind if that shit played out for like 10 chapters, 15 chapters or something without too much crazy action happening. We're getting some last minute members. Good to see. Javier, welcome to the Yonko. Everybody who joined as a member today, thank you very much. Very, very much appreciated. I will be obviously shouting out memberships and everything like that going forward. And actually, I like the idea I just had of, polling for future video topics when I'm having trouble deciding. I might just throw out those polls to members, basically. So future member polls and member community posts and everything like that, you can expect it. If you want to go vote on what the next video topic I'm doing for Tuesday is, you can join the channel as a member. Otherwise, just wait for Tuesday. I've got a good video coming out no matter what. It's actually there's so much to talk about. I'm just trying to figure out what the most interesting thing is and then spend the rest of the night writing about that because there's a lot of material to go off with this chapter. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it.